Hello, and welcome to another Hip Historian Virtual Happy Hour Tour. I am Brenda with AARP. We are the nation's largest nonprofit, nonpartisan organization dedicated to empowering people 50 and older to choose how they live as they age. With a nationwide presence, AARP strengthens communities and advocates for what matters most to more than 100 million Americans 50 plus and their families: health security, financial stability, and personal fulfillment. AARP also produces the nation's largest circulation publications, the AARP Magazine and AARP Bulletin. To learn more, please visit aarp.org/about-AARP. In the month of June, AARP offers events and enriching experiences close to home and from your home that help you make connections and serve others. While our situations are different, our need for connection is universal. Now more than ever, we know that connecting with family and friends is vital to aging well and living longer and happier lives. Visit us at aarp.org/local for more information. Thank you again, and with that, I'll turn it over to Marshall.
Ladies and gentlemen, non-binary folks, welcome to the show. Get ready to meet your host for the night, Arizona's very own hip historian himself, Marshall Shore.
Well, hello and good evening. I want to welcome you all to Arizona History Happy Hour. I am so happy you can join us tonight. Oh, have we got a fun kind of a revisit? So we'll talk more about that as we get rolling. So, I do want to say welcome. Thank you all so much for being here, whatever format you're listening to, or if you are on YouTube and watching this at some other point in time, because history is fun and important. So today is June 8th. And so lots of things. So back in 1925, Arizona had prohibition from 1920. It lasted for 13 years. And on this date back in 1925, there was a raid on a house in Tucson, and they got a lot of different Prohibition era booze, from bottles to lots of things that people would have been imbibing. Now, it is also National Ocean Day because, really, those oceans, that water, really are the lungs of the earth. And so you might not realize a lot of the oxygen that we breathe comes directly from that water. So it's important that we conserve and preserve so that way we can keep on breathing and not just go someplace for the weekend. It is also Name Your Poison Day, which is an expression used to describe a drink of your choice or the least of a bad decision. So, maybe you want to saddle up to a bar in just a little bit and say, here's what I'd like. It is also Ghostbusters Day because on this date, back in 1984, that classic Americana movie, Ghostbusters, was released. The Michelin Man walking down. Oh, Stay Puft Marshmallow Man, not the Michelin Man. The Stay Puft Marshmallow Man marching down Fifth Avenue. It is also Jelly-Filled Donut Day because, those treats that originally originated in Amsterdam, basically being called oily cakes, and those original ones didn't have a hole, so they are perfect for putting whatever kind of jelly you would like into it. Now, it is also National Upsy Daisy Day because just like daisies, keep pushing forward. Today encourages individuals to face challenges with a positive attitude and resilience, just like those daisies pushing up through the dirt. All right, so what can you expect from tonight's happy hour? Well, we always have a little bit of trivia. We've got a little bit of Arizona music history. Little Arizona. Of course, PJ for this episode made an amazing beverage, and so we're going to revisit that, as well as an amazing guest as we take a look back at a prior episode that we did. So if this is your first time watching, you might wonder, who is that man and why is he on my screen? Well, my name is Marshall Shore, and I got to Arizona a little over 23 years ago via Brooklyn, where I was at a beautiful Carnegie building. Decided to trade all that lush wood inside, but outside was snow, slush, cold wind, and so decided it was time to move to someplace sunny. So I traded that library for a little library in South Phoenix called Harmon Library, where there was a rich oral tradition of the community. And that really got me looking at Arizona and learning about it through stories. And I still continue doing that to this day. Now, we promptly moved into a beautiful 1956 ranch. Originally, it was lots of beiges. I'm happy to say now it is just two-tone. Seafoam, cantaloupe. Much easier to remember than all those beige names. So the house is pretty much a time capsule. There's what the kitchen looks like today. Lots of buttercream yellow tile, original appliances, and really trying to keep the flavor of that 1956 ranch. Now, as soon as I got here, all I kept hearing about how there was no history, but I knew that wasn't true because every time I went somewhere, whether it was on foot, on a bike, on a scooter, on a bus, it didn't matter. I kept running across so many amazing people, places, and stories. And so that's what we're sharing. Now, my name is Marshall Shore, as I said, but I am also called a hip historian, which means I get to play with Arizona history. And so if any of you find the publication, So Scottsdale, if you flip through it, this is their man issue, and they are featuring me and my sense of style, which is very much my own, quite colorful. And so that was a lot of fun. We did that shoot out Taliesin West, so that was a great time. So look forward to seeing. I know I've already got some friends who are like, hey, we want an autographed copy of that photo. That was so much fun, shoot being up there. As well as throughout the month of June on Horizon with Ted Simons, basically at their 5 and 10 o'clock show, they'll be doing, there was a handful of us that did a series of interviews about the LGBT community here. And so those will be showing up on Horizon as well as in between some shows kind of randomly. Once I get those links for that bit of history, I will definitely be sharing that around. Now, you can chat, but won't be able to respond because tonight we are actually taking a look back at a prior episode. But you can still reach out to me through all those different socials, whether it's Facebook, Instagram, email, or even through my website. And so now we are going to launch into an episode we did a while ago, focusing on Metro Center, which has been recently gone through. They did another event because it's getting ready to be demolished. So this episode was just before it closed with my friend Kenyatta Turner. So enjoy.
All right, so now we have our happy hour, and because our theme of the evening is Metro Center, oh my gosh, PJ went crazy. He was so excited about this theme that he decided to create a cocktail where each historical figure represented is an ingredient or flavor in the cocktail. So you have, you've got gin for Herman the Kid. You've got, brandy for the short dead dude, a little bit of a pepper sprinkle. So, PJ, what was great, said he loves it. He loves the challenge of trying. It's like he gets the theme and then he's got to figure out, okay, how do I do this in a cocktail? And so This week, he was challenging me because he went so far and put together a great story on Instagram. So if you go to the Facebook event under the comments or in the discussion, there is a link to his Instagram story that is much better than what I've done here because he really went to task. Now, when he was making this,
strange things are afoot at the Circle K.
So he actually went to the Circle K where this was filmed over on Southern and Hardy and got some props for tonight. He even did a reduce of stout that I obviously boiled over the pot. So, okay. So he loves to challenge me with a kit. So that's exactly what he's done. So let's do this. And so, okay. So now the beauty of PJ when he does this is all those different liquors. So the Commerce Gin, the Symphony Gin, Campari, Lillet Blanc, Dolan Rouge, a little bit of brandy. It's already all in here. So all I have to do is that. Oh my gosh. So, and you'll see why we have to use the Circle K trays in just a moment as I try not to. All right, and so then this is a stout foam with bitters from Illinois. Oh my gosh, he measured this out perfect. And so then for Bob Genghis Khan, he even did a little Szechuan pepper ground. So, all right. So this is why we're doing this. So, hey, that doesn't look too bad for not knowing what I was doing. So, all right. All right. So cheers, everybody. This is the Wild Stallion. Oh, dang. Oh, snap. That's good. You can really taste the stout reduction in that. Oh, my gosh. All right. All right. Got to get back on track. Put the drink down. Put the drink down. It's okay. So, yeah. So it's got all kinds of things in it. So I know there may be a couple of these available still at the Valley Ho that with the reduction that he still has. So go hit him up and see if there's one of these Wild Stallions still hanging out just for you. And I am so excited because we're bringing on my friend Kenyatta.
Oh, hey.
Hey.
I'm on.
Oh, wait a minute. And we don't want that. It's like we don't want my silent bartender on.
What's up, Marshall? I was making my drink over here. I was making my little old fashioned over here with my drink kit.
Nice. And what are you drinking this evening?
This is an old fashioned. I'm putting it together. I'm drinking it in a wine glass because that's what I have. So I have a friend who has a kit where they send you everything you need except for the alcohol. So I've got the Angostura aromatic bitters. I've got my cane syrup. It came with this fancy spoon, and
oh, look at you being all
and then the little cherries in this little packet.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
So hiking, because when you need a little drink and you're on the hike, you can just kind of pop that open and pop some cherries in your mouth.
You're good.
Yeah,
absolutely. So
gosh, that's a great idea. I've never seen them in the little gel pack.
And they said that actually, interesting story. She said that they got these from an airline that had bought them to use them on the airline, and when COVID hit, her company got the inside scoop that they needed to sell all these little things because they couldn't use them, so they use them in their old-fashioned kits.
That's brilliant.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, brilliant.
Yeah, no, that's great.
Yeah.
So Kenyatta, tell us a little bit about yourself. I see this initial MM after your name. What is that?
M&Ms. I like M&Ms. Just a lot. No. Masters in management. So I don't have an MBA. It's a master's in management, specifically MM. So That's what it is. Yeah. So I didn't want all the financy stuff, so it was straight like change management, leadership, organizational leadership, stuff like that. Yeah.
Oh, nice.
So I figured, hey, I earned it. I'm putting it after my name.
No, exactly. I don't blame you.
Yes.
So I know we first met through Junior League through the ambassadors.
Well, and what's interesting, we talked about this earlier. We may have met before that.
Yeah,
I didn't realize
that's going to come up later on because who knows?
Who knows?
I mean,
but we think we met initially through the Junior League. Yeah, we're both community ambassadors, and we'd sit there at the table in the meetings, and always I'd be like, "Wait a minute, why don't I know this guy?"
Exactly. Right. What? And so that's actually what happened. It's like, hey, let's do a little bit of chat session and let's just see what happens. And yeah.
And here we are. So yeah, we had that conversation. I'm like, tell me, like, what do you actually do?
And we keep asking each other that same question.
What do you do, man? And then once we told me about, I was like, wait a minute. Okay, I knew it had something to do with Arizona, but I didn't really know. So once we had that conversation, I'm like, dude, that's really cool what it is. And then and you asked me to be on the show, and I'm like, yeah, let's do it. And talking about Metro Center just seemed like it just seemed to make sense.
Right. I mean, because I think the auction is still going on. I don't know if that's ended yet, because I know you could actually own a piece of Metro Center.
I did not know that. I need to.
They were selling off some of like the signage and things from a variety of some of the shops. So when everybody left, all the stuff that was left over, they're just like, hey.
Very cool. Very cool. So that's it. So I'm excited to be here. I have okay, so I did because I think I'm a techie. And so I think I have watch parties happening in a couple of places that I shared it to inside one of my groups, I think, and then on my page. So if you see me looking over here at my phone, it's because I'm like just making sure everything is doing its stuff, but I'm trying to spread the good word about what you're doing because I think it's just so cool. So thanks for having me.
Oh, my pleasure. And and speaking of that, I'm so let's see. So John said that he bought the large coffee table from the food court at Metro Center.
What?
So when are we all going to come over and have some coffee?
Yeah.
That's what I want to know. So we can all pretend we're sitting on the food court.
Yes. Good old food. I like Metro. I miss it. Now granted, I stopped shopping there a long time ago because there was no reason to go there. However, I still, have love for Metro Center.
The only reason I would go was Hot Topics because, sometimes you just needed things that only Hot Topic would have.
Absolutely. Oh, and so can I tell you that I work there?
I didn't know you actually worked there.
Did I tell you that? I opened Hot Topic.
Oh,
so I'm not going to say what year that was.
You've been holding out on me, Kenyatta. Oh my gosh.
I opened that store. There was no, I got hired there before it actually opened and unpacked all the boxes and set the store up and everything like that. So, yep.
All right. So we're going to have a lot of fun tonight. So we always do trivia. Mm-hmm. And so our trivia is a little more unique than I think if you go to a lot of other trivia nights that are more about, what you think or don't learn or anything. But we actually play trivia so that it's more of a learning thing. So what we'll do is we'll go through the questions. Now they're multiple choice so that even if you don't know the answer, you just guess and you might be right. You might not be right, but that's half the fun. But then we're going to have a little bit of a music break, and just wait till you find out about the music break.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, it's one of those like, oh my gosh, hello, big bulb goes on.
I can't wait.
Yeah. And then we'll actually go and talk about the answers. And so we're going to talk about some mall culture, all kinds of things going on. Yeah. So they're all multiple choice. So that way, even if you don't know the answer,
okay,
throw a dart. Now people keep track. I actually had somebody who sent me, they had their leg and a Sharpie, and that's how they were keeping track of their answers for trivia. You can do it in the chat. You can do it if you want to write it in Hershey syrup on a banana, you go right ahead. And then you know what? When you're done, you can eat the evidence.
You can you're like, I was never there,
Exactly. Oh, and Kenyatta, I see you already getting some love.
I'm getting some love.
You are. It's like my friend Preston said, Nunzilla.
Oh my God.
Ah,
Yes, Nunzilla.
yes. And we'll talk about that in just a few minutes. So
That's funny. Someone tossed out Nunzilla. That's funny. That's awesome. Thank you, Preston. Yes.
Preston's great. So, all right. So our first question is, what year did Metro Center open for business? Was it A, 1972? Was it B, 1969, the summer of love? Or was it C, 1970, or D, 1973? All right, so one of those is the year that Metro Center opened its doors. All right, and how many anchor or department stores did Metro Center have? And Hot Topics was not one of them, so you can't include that in the list. So was it A, 4, B, 5, C, 3, or D, 6? How many anchor stores did Metro Center have? Now, this could have been a trick question, and that may come up in the discussion, but we shall see. All right. The mall scene from Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure were filmed at Metro Center. What year did that movie debut?
Bill and Ted.
So I know it's like, who knew PJ was going to, and I think just because we mentioned that name, I need to have another sip of this wild.
I have to say, by the way, I make a pretty good old fashioned. I just found out when the kids all set up for me. And I don't make drinks. I'm a beer drinker, but I love an old fashioned. And usually they're made for me, but I just made my own. And I'm pretty proud of myself.
I love cocktail kits. There are so many places around town. There's things I like about like the Valley Ho, some of the other bars around town. You can just get a cocktail to go. Take it home. It's already pre-made. You just dump it in a glass and you're good to go.
I did not know that was a thing.
Yeah.
Always learning.
Yeah. So that's why PJ likes to challenge me and figure out, okay, what can I get him to do that he's going to try and mess up on?
Yeah.
But dang, that's a good, tasty cocktail.
Man, I'm interested in that. The Wild Stallion.
Yeah. All right. So question 4, Castles and Coasters did not originally start with that name. What was the name of Castles and Coasters? A, Golfland. B, Metro Golf. C, Golf and Stuff. Or D, Roller Coaster Rumpus. Wow, I want to go to D. I don't know where Roller Coaster Rumpus is, but that sounds like a lot of fun.
Awesome. And I'm looking at the comments. I can see the people commenting. I see, hey, Babs, what's up, girl?
You know Bab?
Yeah, I know Babs.
Oh my gosh.
I'm just scrolling through the names. I'm seeing like who I know is checking it out. I know Babs. Girl.
Oh my gosh. And then my friend Lisa's on here. It's like we actually went to Castles and Coasters and played mini golf. Very good. Okay, so question 5. Which one of these was not one of the original anchor stores? A, Goldwater's. B, Nordstrom's. C, Dillard's. Or D, the Broadway. So one of those was not one of the original anchors.
I'm checking out on here. Preston was a Hot Topic alumni, he says.
What does he mean, alumni?
I don't know what that means.
I know. I thought he was still
graduated from there. Like, when did you graduate? Preston, what did you graduate in from Hot Topic? I'm curious.
I bet it was eyeliner.
Graduated eyeliner. Yeah.
All right. So question 6. What year did Vans announce there would be a Van skate park in the mall?
Mm.
Oh, and Bab says that Tom says hi.
Oh, he worked there. Preston worked there too. Okay. All right. Good to know.
Oh, Manic Panic was his major. That's
Manic It's fun to see all the comments. Hey, everybody.
All right. So Vans announced there'd be a skate park in the mall.
Yep.
2001 A, B 2003, C 1999. That's a good year for space, I hear. Or D 2004. All right. So one of those is the year that Vans announced there'd be a skate park inside the mall.
So did you know that I used to host skateboard contests? I've won skateboard contests. Not first place. I got like fourth place, but yeah, I'm a skateboarder. I was skating at that park.
Wow. So I've never been on a skateboard.
Are you?
I don't trust especially now. I'm like,
I was gonna say, are you gonna keep it that way?
I'm gonna keep it that way. I made it on rollerblades, and that was harrowing enough. I almost killed a friend back in Brooklyn on rollerblades.
Oh my gosh.
So yeah.
No, I'm a skateboarder.
So, and then, oh my God, we're going to get a chance to talk about the ice skating rink that was at Metro Center. Okay, so what was the name of the ice skating rink that was located under the food court? A, Metro Center on Ice. B, Metro Ice Palace. C, Metro Rink. Or D, Metro Ice Castle. All right, so one of those.
People on Facebook are chatting there.
They are indeed. Yeah. And some of them know the answer. All right, so now we're talking a little bit more mall culture. What was the first mall in Phoenix? A, Maryvale. B, Christown. C, Park Central. Or D, Metro Center. What was the first mall in Phoenix?
So Nick says here, he says, my dad took me to the arcade when I was a kid before they put in the turnstile so he could plausibly tell me a giant used to live in that castle. Yeah, that was his way of like, just a little bit of torture, just a little bit of
right.
That's so funny.
Oh, that's funny. Okay. Which one of these anchor stores moved from Metro Center to Christown Spectrum Mall in 2007? A, Diamonds. B, Robinson's May. C, J.W. Robinson's. Or D, J.C. Penney. Which one of those stores moved from Metro Center into Central Phoenix? Over at Christown Spectrum Mall.
Mm-hmm. Remember they added like Spectrum onto Christown?
And it's like nobody calls it Spectrum. Everyone's calling it Christown. It's so crazy they even tried to do that. And then they stopped calling it Spectrum, and then they went back to Christown. And I don't even know what they call themselves now.
I don't know. And what is the issue? Like, why bother?
Right. Exactly.
It's not going to make anyone want to go there anymore just because you changed the name.
Well, and now the concern is the fact that it's like the fact that J.C. Penney has moved out, the fact that what's the big place? Costco has moved out.
Yes, and that was my Costco. Now I've got to go all the way over to 44th Street and Thomas, I think. That's where.
Yeah, and I'm like, no, I'm not going to. Oh, Nick says they still put Spectrum on the light rail maps. How do people know where they're going? I would miss my stop because I wouldn't get off at Spectrum because it's not Christown.
Yeah.
All right. Which one of these stores was not on the second floor? A, Hot Dog on a Stick. B, Spencer's. C, Hot Topic. Hey, Preston, C, you'll be able to chime in, maybe. Yeah. D, Vans. So one of those was not on the second floor.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Okay, so while you're all getting your answers ready, either you're licking the chocolate off your banana, whatever you're doing, no judgment here. Keep calm because we're going to take a little bit of a break because the answers will be coming up very soon. But oh my gosh. So whenever I have a guest on, I always like to say, hey, do you have anything Arizona music wise that you would like to talk about? And so you brought up the Hypno Twist. And so years ago, I was shopping in Stinkweeds and this really cool band started playing, and it was Hypno Twist. So I immediately bought the CD, and then I was like, well, where can I go hear them? And it was the most diviest of dive bars in the best sense of the word.
Yeah.
It was indeed the Emerald Lounge.
Yeah.
Which I honestly didn't realize had been around since the late 40s.
Really? I didn't know that either. I'm looking at that number going 1949. Wow.
Yeah, that's what it's like. I found that in the New Times. They did an article. And so, yeah, with Greg, and it was like, oh my gosh, I had no idea. And so it was at 7th Avenue in McDowell on that kind of southwest corner where now if you go, you can find
a Starbucks.
A Starbucks.
Of course.
And a Payway, but no dive bar, sadly.
Now, there is some bar that I never went to that start above it. I think it was called the Sidebar.
Yes, and so Sidebar actually recently closed, and so actually getting ready for this, I discovered that there's a new bar that's moved in.
Oh,
so which I didn't realize.
Yeah, and I never made it to the Sidebar. You know, I think mentally I was boycotting the Sidebar, like just because I used to love the Emerald Lounge, and when I found out there was some other bar above it, I was like, I'm never going to that dumb bar. I never ever stepped foot in it.
Oh, it was a fun place.
The Emerald closed. Yeah, the Emerald was.
It was nothing like the Emerald Lounge, but I mean, it was a little classier of a joint.
Oh, a little classier than Emerald.
Well, at least the bathroom wasn't plastered with stickers.
Yes. I love the Emerald Lounge. I spent a fair share of hours there.
So why were you there so much?
Well, I was there so much because all my friends' bands were playing there at some point, but my bands played there as well. So I was there on the stage or in the audience, one of the two. And I just loved it. I loved everything about it. Well, let me say that there are some things I did not love about the Emerald Lounge. Let me be clear. I didn't love everything about it. But I loved the Emerald Lounge. You know, it was just the coolest spot, and always the best shows were happening there. It was a small spot, and it would be, I mean, when it was packed, there was just something about that. I mean, I love live music. As a musician, that's what I love to do. And so seeing my friends' bands and being a part of that experience was huge. And then when I was in a band and I was able to play there with my bands, it was just a cool spot. You know, Greg is cool. Rhonda's cool. It's just cool.
Well, and so I didn't realize. I started poking around and looking into the history of Emerald Lounge. My friend Rhonda, her husband, owned it. I had no clue. So of course I'm like texting her earlier today going, hey, did your husband used to own? And she's like, yep. And I'm like, oh man.
And then you message me and you're like, my friend's husband, Greg, owns it. And I'm like, yeah, of course. You know what I mean? And then my other band, Nunzilla, like your president was talking about, we used to play at the Ruby Room because then they opened up the Ruby Room after that. And the Ruby Room was the spot, you know? Yeah. So the Emerald Lounge and the Ruby Room, just hearts to both of those spots for sure.
Well, and then Babs brings up that also that Lost Leaf was there selling artwork before they turned into a bar over on Roosevelt, just south of Roosevelt.
Ah, okay. Wait, the Lost Leaf was what? That was theirs too? Wait, what did he say?
So Lost Leaf was also in the same building that the lounge was in. And so they both kind of vacated at the same time.
I did not.
And so when Greg went off to open up Ruby Room, it's like then they found a location south of Roosevelt.
Yes.
So basically it's a little bar, and so there's still so it really is still a good place to just kind of go hear live music that's not necessarily going to sell out some of the larger venues. That is just more there.
Well, here's something I'll share. This little fun fact is that so my band Nunzilla, that we went on hiatus, and actually we're still on hiatus. That's what I said. We never broke up. Like we just still are. We're like, we're going on hiatus. We need to take a break, and we did, and we still are. But we got together for a impromptu reunion. Literally within 3 days, we planned this because another band was supposed to play. That something happened, whatever. And I was like, you know what, guys, we should get Nunzilla together to fill this gap in this show with this band that I was going to start called the Power Glides, and it didn't work out. There was a big thing. Anyway, we pulled it off and got together after I don't know how many years of not playing together. And we played a show at the Lost Leaf on the night that I was supposed to be debuting in another band that I was in. And that place was packed. And all I remember was playing these songs that I hadn't played for years. None of us had played them at all for years. And it was interesting, how, and if anyone who's watching who's musicians and knows what happens when things just lock in, like where it all just comes back, in that way. And we were that kind of band. We always had the same members. We never changed anything. It was always perfection. Anyway, we came together and played that. And I just remember playing, and the floor in the Lost Leaf was like moving. And I'm like, there's a lot of people in here. Is this safe? Like it was so packed and it was so much fun. And that was the only time I ever played at the Lost Leaf was that particular show. And it was an amazing experience to get, that band back together for this impromptu reunion that nobody knew was coming. We just did it. It was a lot of fun though.
Well, and Lost Leaf is still doing things. I was reading they're doing things outside. So you can still go and hang out and hear some live music and hang out with friends.
Yeah. I need to go and check it
out.
So
we're trying to be as safe as we all can be in this moment.
Yes. Safe as we can be. That's right.
All right. So who's ready for some answers? Now that we've talked a little bit about Emerald Lounge, what an amazing place it was. It was, that's kind of where it's like I was going when I didn't even know anybody. I just pretty much moved to Arizona and I plopped myself in there and.
Well, see, and that's why I say you and I probably met at
probably did. I have no doubt.
Because either for a Hypnotwist show or with the Crying Shames, that was my band that I used to play with there with the Hypnotwists, and we probably ran into each other and just forgot.
I have no idea. Yeah, because I wasn't quite this fabulous at that point.
You less memorable? Is that what you're trying to say? What are you talking about? I've always been this fabulous, by the way, those in you in the audience.
Well, I've always been fabulous, but just not, I wasn't quite as distinctive with now the goatee that's like down to my belly button almost.
Yeah. So what's this? The answers. How does this work? I'm so excited.
Oh my gosh. Okay. So what year did Metro Center open for business?
1973.
Yeah.
I wasn't even born yet.
It was. They actually opened October 1st of 73.
Wow, Metro opens its doors tomorrow.
Yeah, and it's like when it opened its doors, it was being heralded as like one of the largest malls in the country.
Really?
It was quite the to-do.
I think I read somewhere that it was also the only 2-story one. Like in the in the state or something like that. It was a big deal that it was 2 stories, at that time as well. So
yeah, the mall I grew up with back in Indiana, it was only 1 story. So I remember going to a mall that was 2 stories, or one that had an ice rink and was just like, oh, they have an ice rink. How decadent.
See, and Metro Center was really all I knew. So I was spoiled then, because I was like, I knew Christown, but Metro Center was my jam. I live right by it. So to me, it was like malls were just 2 stories. Christown was like junk, with its 1 story.
So, all right. So what anchor stores, or how many anchors were there at Metro Center? 5.
5 anchors. So that probably was a big deal too, because that seems like a lot.
That is a lot. And it was like, you had Diamonds with that really distinctive building. Goldwater's, again, with that distinctive entryway. The Broadway. Rhodes was there. As well as then Sears. I guess they were actually part of the development when it was being built. So they were on board from the get-go.
And then the Broadway too, because the Broadway was on the side that you would enter if you were coming from Dunlap. And that's the way I always enter, because I lived on Dunlap, so the Broadway was always what I saw, coming up to that was my entrance point, to the mall.
Oh, somebody is saying, I didn't realize that the Diamonds building, which is now the Dillards, is still open. I thought the entire thing was shut down, but I guess
open for what?
Well, that it's kind of like the stuff that everyone brings back to Dillard's. They just kind of dump it, and so you get to go through like cheap clothes and all kinds of things.
Like an outlet?
Yeah, so kind of like a Dillard's outlet type thing.
Oh, I didn't know that.
I didn't know that either. I thought everything was just gone.
Mm-hmm.
So who knew?
Anna put mind blown. Anna, why's your mind blown? Anna Catalonate. That's a cool last name. Anna, why's your mind blown? I want to know if she can't read. Which thing blew your mind? All of this is mind blowing to me. So which part blew your mind? Definitely.
So Gavin is asking if Metro Center was a success from when it first opened. And from everything I've read, I mean, it didn't let people down. I mean, it was drawing people from all over the valley to come to Metro Center. So I think it was indeed a huge success.
Interesting. I think so too. I mean, I guess if it was the biggest mall around, in our state for sure, pretty cool. Donna says, hey, Donna Sparaco met her. Donna, she's so awesome. She's a good friend of mine. Actually, she's the one who recruited me into Legal Shield, which is one of my businesses 6.5 years ago. She's like, grab your bass, girl, and come on over. Because her husband, Jeff, plays guitar. Yeah, why are we not playing guitar with Jeff and me and the bass? I'm in. And I have an acoustic bass, Donna. Tell him that I can bring over as well, because I think he typically plays acoustic guitar. So we're making dates while we're on here. Excuse me while I set a couple of appointments.
No worries. I mean, well, that's the fun thing. It was like when we did Superior, actually we were connecting history, because it was like people that didn't know each other, but like their families have known each other, were connecting. So that's half the fun, is getting people together, and suddenly you find out, oh, wait a minute, haven't seen you in a while. Let's chat.
Yeah.
So it's all good.
I love this. Oh, Anna says that her mind blown. She doesn't remember that many anchors. So she's talking about the 5 stores. Like she didn't realize there was that many, big department stores.
And I wonder, and even though I think Sears was involved from the very beginning, I don't think they were there when the mall originally opened in 73. I think it took them a little bit of time to move in. So I don't know if they were doing a special building just for them or something, but I remember seeing something along that lines. So that's why I was like, this could be a trick question. It's like, well, how many stores did it open with? So, because sometimes we're kind of prone to having some of those trick questions.
Sometimes.
All right. So the mall scene from Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure were filmed at Metro Center. What year did that movie debut?
Ooh, that little video clip?
It is.
You're so cool.
As soon as you say the answer, I'm going to click on it. So come on, woman, drink that drink. Come on.
Do I say the answer?
Yeah, I'm going to make you say the answer. That way I can click.
Oh, okay. But can't they see it on the screen?
They can.
But I got to read out loud. Oh, yeah. The answer is D, 1989.
All right. And let's see if this actually, I've never tried this, so I'm intrigued to see if it works. Open. That's not working well.
Ah.
Oh, I guess we get no.
Oh, shucks.
I know. Dang. Okay. Well, I know, sometimes you try things at the last minute to see what's going to happen. And, oh, wait a minute. I bet I know.
Oh. Hey.
Why be soft and flabby when you can be firm and trim, when you can have a body that cries out, look at me, admire me? With our specialized weight training and aerobics program, we can help you attain the kind of body you've only dreamed of having. All right, let's go, ladies.
Look at them in Metro.
You a musician? Well, here. Try this.
He's like, where is that coming from?
I know. And I was saying the same thing. I was like, look, it's Jane Wheeland. Oh my gosh.
Yeah. And he's like, where's that come from? You don't need me,
Right, exactly. So we don't need me anymore.
Wait, that's hot dog on a stick. Oh my God.
Oh yeah, it is.
That's totally hot dog on a like literally it was a manual process.
Oh my gosh.
If you've never seen that, hey, someone whoever's watching this, if you know what I'm talking about the chicks making lemonade and hot dog on a stick, and you ever saw that actually happen, please put that in the chat. Because we walk by and laugh all the time. Like, look at them jumping up and down on this weird apparatus with a handle. It's like they were like jumping on something that I think spun and mixed the lemonade like a big barrel. Very, very interesting.
See, and Amber remembers when the boys would go watch the lemonade making.
Mm. They would. I'm sure they probably would. They wear their little hats and little outfits, and they're like bouncing on this thing. I'm sure the boys did go watch them.
Oh, and then John says, yes, we did, but it was to laugh at them.
It was the groovy lemonade. The lemonade was delicious, and those cheese sticks on the stick, hot dog on a stick. It was all good. Burlington socks. Wait, I'm gonna have to go back and watch this movie so I can.
I know. I have a feeling that PJ was watching this on VHS when he was making the cocktail.
It's like a good movie, you know.
I know. I haven't seen it in so long, so it's like I think it's definitely time
to go back and do that again. That's awesome. Thanks, Marsha, put in that little clip for us. That's cool.
Yeah, no, actually, we were trying to actually do. There was the Phoenix Film Society, and they were trying to do a 30th anniversary showing of it at Metro Center, and that was all when it was kind of, is it opening, is it closing, what's going on? And so we sadly never got a chance to do that, but it would have been so much fun to do Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure inside Metro Center.
Yes. So cool.
So maybe we could still do it at the Dillard's Dump.
At the Dillard's Dump.
At the Dillard's Dump. Woohoo.
Woo. Not the same thing.
Oh, and now I can't stop it from playing. Oh.
The new Jade. That was that. God, has that been there that long? The Chinese place at you know, the Chinese food place in the food court. I think I just saw it in the thing and I had no idea. I mean, there's always been the place where you can go get the Chinese food, but I didn't realize it'd been there that long. So, wow.
All right. And then everyone's favorite, well, actually, it's not the only amusement park in town, but
it is. Oh, okay. So Castles and Coasters started as C, Golf and Stuff. What a cool name. What a cool name to put in stuff.
Exactly, because they had golf and all these other things which you could see. But I guess I had to include golf because if you're too busy looking at the roller coaster, you wouldn't see the miniature golf, which was so much fun.
So much fun. And Golf and Stuff was, oh my gosh, love Golf and Stuff. It was just cool the way it was set up in there, where it had like the different levels where you know, of video games, where, you know, it was a big, huge circle inside of there with all the video games, because you could be wherever you were, you can kind of see everything that was going on, at least inside, you know, right? You can see across, you can play the games down in the pit, and then of course the miniature golf and the roller coaster. I mean, it's literally the coolest amusement park that we have, right? You know, it's only one really right?
I mean, you get all the bad prizes. You can win. I mean, I think I still have my switchblade comb.
Switchblade comb. I'm sure I got like a power ring or something like that. A little plastic ring to cut my finger, and I'm trying to fit it on. It's too small. It pinches my finger. You know,
exactly.
I loved golf and stuff. I mean, you know, as a kid, I mean, really, like if you lived nearby there, which I did for many years. I mean, I spent most of my life, I think, on Dunlap, because I went to Cortez. And I went there all 4 years. Oh, by the way, and Alice Cooper went to Cortez. Fun fact. So if you went to Cortez, I went to Cortez. I worked at DeVry right there for 13 years. So I was there. I worked at the Art Institute of Phoenix, which is right next to DeVry. And I lived in the apartment complexes next door, two of the different apartment complexes right there. So that whole little strip from like 35th Avenue on Dunlap to the freeway. I mean, that was my little stomping ground for many, many years. And then even as an adult. So Metro that's where I went.
When John was saying that the roller coaster didn't come until the 90s.
Really?
So I guess the stuff would have been the arcade.
The arcade, yeah.
So it was golf and arcade.
Golf and arcade.
So that doesn't sound nearly as much fun as stuff.
That's not as fun
I'd
as
like to get it in some stuff.
Not as fun as stuff. And it was cool looking, like the whole castle thing, which they changed the name to Castles and Coasters. I'm like, that's dumb. But I understood there was a coaster and there are castles. So technically it made sense.
But there's still golf.
There's still golf and there's still stuff. So exactly. I felt no need to change the name whatsoever. Leave it alone. It
was probably a huge rebranding effort that took a lot of people a lot of time to come up with that.
Right? How much money did people get paid to come up with that name, to change it to a name that it didn't need to be changed to in the first place? You know? So, but it was a cool
Spectrum Mall.
Yeah, it looked really cool. I saw a YouTube video on golf and stuff. I looked it up, and it was someone, it had to be 80s or whatever, who took their camera. They probably had a big old, camera on their shoulder.
And like the size of a TV set.
And they were filming the whole thing. And it reminded me just how cool golf and stuff, like the aesthetics of it, the style, the castles. I mean, it was just a cool looking theme park, I guess it's a park. Yeah.
Oh, Nick and Babs are also saying they used to have like bumper boats.
Do I remember the bumper boats?
I don't. Wow. No, by the time I got here, bumper boats were gone, and some sort of like little race car.
Yes. Yes. Okay.
Go-kart things. So
I forgot all about that. Wow. Racy cars and bumper boats. Okay. I totally remember now. Gosh, man, that was a long time ago. Bumper cars, my favorite, Amber says. Oh, the stuff was the inner tube things. Yeah, the inner cars. Yeah, they were like inner tubes. I don't think they were actually boats. I think it more was like a little tube thing.
Oh, like an inner tube that you sat on, and that sounds rather dangerous.
Bab says, I'd watch the hot dog girls pumping lemonade today. Someone describe it in depth, and I'll make the videos. I can describe it for you, Bab. She will make the videos of that.
I must say, she would.
Yes, she
would. Without a doubt.
Very cool. Very cool.
All right. So which one of these stores was not one of the original anchors?
It was Nordstrom.
Indeed. And that's why they got no photo. They got nothing, because there was nothing for Nordstrom's.
Nothing for Nordstrom. Who got that right? Put it in the chat if you got that right. We want to know. Anyone guess Nordstrom? Of course, you'll probably say now that you did, but
No, I bet this crowd, a lot of these folks are like knowing too much stuff. So there's no way they would have gotten that wrong. So me, on the other hand, I had to look it up because I was like, I don't know.
Yeah.
All right. What year did Vans announce there would be a Van skate park at the mall?
2001. The announcement came. That's like 20 years ago. I can do a little bit of math, and I can do that math. And that is like, when I saw that, I was like, really, where does the time go? Just poof, gone.
Exactly. I mean, 2000 seems like so long ago, but it really wasn't. I mean, I can remember being here, and I think they announced it, and I was like, since I wasn't a skater, I was like, oh, but I still would go and watch.
Absolutely. And I was a skater, and we were like, oh my God, there's going to be a skate park in the mall? Are you kidding? So I have some friends who, we built the Desert West Park. And that was the first skate park that there was around. The first outdoor public skate park was Desert West. And I think we broke ground, oh my God, 87, I'm going to say, was the year that we broke ground for that park. That sounds right. 87, 97, 97. Oh my God. Okay, I'm losing track. It's been a long time, right? 97. It could have been 87, 97. All right. And so that was huge that we had an outdoor park when there was no park. And then, we spent all this time and energy building that park and getting the city to build it. Cowtown Skateboards, everybody who's probably listening knows all about that. But that was huge. And then all of a sudden after that, every other city wanted a park. It was like, if you build it, they'll come. Like, we had to raise money. We had to raise money to build the Desert West and show the city that we were serious and we wanted a park. Like, you need to build a skateboard park. This is important. This is a thing. And then once we did that, they put in the rest of the money. We built the park, designed the park and everything. And then all of a sudden, PV, Scottsdale, all these other parks pop up and no one had to raise any money. They just wrote into the budget, but, so when Vans put that park in Metro, that's a huge deal considering that it was a Metro Center and that's where we all hung out. And it's like, wow, there's gonna be a skate park in here. It's phenomenal. Like, it was just really, really cool. But I didn't realize it was 2001 until I saw that. I was like, wow, 20 years.
Yeah, I know. And I don't know if it made it into the final plans, but I know when they were talking about redoing Hans Park, there was talk of putting in a skate park there.
There was.
So I don't know if they've got final plans or what, but
I don't think so. But yeah, that's right. Hans Park was another spot that would have made sense, for a park for sure.
Right.
Yeah. It makes sense to put a skate park everywhere, by the way, those of you who are listening. Just put a skate park in.
Right. In case like Greg Stanton or anybody's listening.
Yeah.
It's like
just a skate park, no bikes, no blades, no scooters, skateboard only. Like this kid on the bike here, like this picture with this kid on the bike in the skate park actually angers me, by the way. So I'm a little bit upset right now because now, those of you listening who may be judging me right now, I don't care, but I will tell you that I love bikes are cool, blades are cool, scooters are cool, but I don't necessarily want you in a skate park when I'm in a skate park. And let me say the reason why, for those of you who are like, God, what's wrong with her? Like, what is the issue? Everyone's just trying to have fun on their wheeled devices. It's because we move differently. And when you're in a park and everyone is moving in all these different ways on a wheeled vehicle, the last thing you want to do is crash. Okay. And I know how a skateboarder is going to move. So I can adjust for that, right? I can move how I'm going to move and you can see where they're going to go. A bike can turn this way and that way, and a scooter can do all these different things. So they're moving in a erratic manner. That's how I look at it. So it makes it more dangerous, in my opinion, quite honestly, because you can't really anticipate their path. Everyone's got a line. And if you run into a bike with a person on it, there's a lot more things that can hurt you.
There's sharp things, there's metal things
and all kinds of things. If it's just skateboards, we know what we're working with. Piece of wood, trucks, 4 wheels. Okay. And so anyway, that's my little soapbox about.
Well, that's like sharing the sidewalk with the scooters. Those little battery powered things. It's like, oh my gosh.
There you go. Yeah. So I'm not being, biased. I'm just being safe.
Completely. I agree with you. All right. What was the name of the ice skating rink that was located under the food court? Metro.
Ice Palace. I was looking at the things because I just saw Nick says he got 50% so far.
See, and that's usually that's pretty good for our trivia. So
all right. He's rocking it. Okay, cool.
So then I did also include a photo of the lounge.
Look at that.
That was the old airplane.
Yes. Oh man.
Which I've only heard stories about, but it sounds really cool.
And what's interesting when I talk to people who don't know that there was an ice skating rink and have told them, yeah, I used to have an ice skating rink. They're like, no, what do you mean? I'm like, no, underneath the food court. They're like, what do you mean? I'm like, well, it's hard to explain because again, they, floored that up. Right. But you used to be able to stand in the food court up there, and look over into the ice skating rink. And I'm going to say, and I can't believe I'm going to admit this, but someone I know that looks like me at one point maybe took an Orange Julius that they bought at the Orange Julius that was right there and maybe poured it over onto the ice skating rink.
Oh.
Maybe. Someone who looked like me maybe did that. There was an Orange Julius
run out on that, so they're not going to come and get you.
Yeah, but there was an Orange Julius right there up against the where you could look over, and it was quite, it was very cool to watch people ice skating down there. But I never actually ice skated at that rink. So if anyone put in the chat, did you skate at the rink or not skate at the rink? I never actually did.
So when Metro Center was closing, it was kind of like there was like the last drive around, like the last few weekends, there were these big drives cruising the mall. And so I was like, so one day I just go walking in the mall And I loved the fact that you had parents dragging their kids around, talking about the history of the mall and like, this
Oh,
is where mom used to work. This is where we met and things like that. So at one point, I'm walking by this couple. We're all masked up. And I hear her say, "Oh, this is where the ice skating rink used to be." So I go over and start talking to them, and all of a sudden, it's like the guy is like, "Marshall," and I'm like, "It was my friend Will and his girlfriend." It was so funny because we were all masked up. It was like had no idea it was Will. So that was a fun way to connect in the last closing days of the mall.
that is cool. And I missed that. I did not go to the last cruise and to the last thing. I was bummed about that, but I was, it's interesting with Metro Center, the way things were going, you wondered how much longer it would last, right? But then
Right.
part of me was like, oh, well, it'll just kind of be open forever in its altered state. It would be. So when they announced it was closing, I was sad. I was like, no way. Like, you can't really close the mall, can you? But I guess you can.
Except the Dillard's Dump is still open, so
The
you
Dillard's
can go to the mall.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, that's the amazing thing was, I mean, it shut down, but to watch because it was really one of the first things for people to do outside of the house. So you saw all these cars cruising around full of families because they
Yeah.
were just so happy to get out of the house.
That right, and go do something. Now here I see Nick says he doesn't remember skating there. He says they always took him to Great Skate, which I remember. Great Skate, yes, over on 43rd Avenue in Peoria. So that was the spot. The Farrells used to take their skate zoo, their zoo around the ice skating rink. Used to skate their zoo. What is that? What do you mean the zoo, Farrells? Like animal zoo or a bunch of kids zoo? Which do you mean? Family 87, eating up there. Didn't the OJ hang out over the rink on the food court side? Yeah, the Orange Julius. Yes, it was right there. That was the little spot, right? Very cool. Very cool. I like seeing the comments. Ah, great skate. Esther's like, oh, great skate. Amber, great skate. She lived by Rolero back in the day. Yeah.
Rolero. Well, and so Keely said that she used to actually go ice skating. She was from Tuba City. And so
That is cool.
gets the Pearls ice cream. And so, yeah, I mean, you could really see the outpouring of emotion on that. I mean, walking through the mall or even on those drives. I mean, even though I didn't grow up at the Metro Center, I grew up at a different mall that is nothing like, I don't even know if it's still open, but I completely understand that that was our childhood growing up.
Yes. Those are important memories. They shaped us.
Very
They truly did. That's what we did for fun. Some people grew up on farms. I grew up in Metro. Defines us, right?
Yeah, and it was great to see all the communities coming out. You had the different car clubs sitting there with the cars. Some of them were driving around. It was so much fun. There was a radio station that had set up.
Oh, to
And
be
so
blasting some
about
music and
80
stuff.
music all night long. So
That's cool. That's cool. Well, yeah. Well, Metro Parkway, right? The big loop is just, I mean, it made sense. Why not cruise that thing? Oh, and then, so someone put in the chat, if they remember, that there's a fountain that's right on 29th Avenue and Dunlap in the Metro Center marketplace. There's like that big strip mall on 29th Avenue when you're going into Metro Center from Dunlap. And it used to have water. It doesn't have water because I actually drove by the other day when I was thinking about this, and I kind of looked around and drove around the loop, and it was a very sad sight to see. Don't do that. Don't go there and drive around Metro now. All of you watching, don't do it. Just keep the memories as you have them in your head.
oh my gosh, I almost forgot. So because we were doing Metro Center,
oh God, what do you have?
I had some friends stop by Romanelli's and bring
Romanelli's.
me cannoli.
You got a cannoli for Romanelli's?
Yeah. Oh, see. So yes, I got the lovely pink box within a cannoli.
I am jelly. Oh, man. So Romanelli's, because I went to Cortez, right? And so Romanelli's was our spot, obviously, for lunch. Every day we'd have 30 minutes and we would hustle down to Romanelli's, 30 minutes, and get a deli special, which was like a half of a sub with a Coke. And then maybe you can get like one of those big pickles. They had the big pickles, and we would sit there, and that was our spot. The guys who worked there were super cool. The parents who owned it were cool. And then I wound up going back a few years ago, and the guys who were like probably they're young, maybe early 20s or teens when I was going there. They weren't much older than us, but they like seemed that they probably had to work there, you know. Now they're like running the place, you know. And so, but yeah, Romanelli's was the spot, and man, such good food and just good
Oh my gosh,
people.
the best cannolis in town. I love the fact that they don't fill them until you order them, so the shell stays nice and crispy.
Yum.
Yeah, I mean, I spent a decade in New York, so it's like I was looking for a real cannoli, and I was like, oh, Romanelli's, yes.
That's where you go. That's so cool. You went to Romanelli. So yeah, put in the chat if you know about Romanelli's. Oh, and then I was going to ask the fountain. Okay, the Lamps Plus fountain. Yes. Did you ever see the Lamps Plus fountain with soap suds in it? Did you ever?
Were you out there with a big jug of laundry soap?
Listen, I don't remember. Okay. I'm just saying that there may have been a time when there was suds in that fountain. That's all I'm saying. I don't know who did it. I don't remember. I don't recall. You know? But if anyone's ever seen that actually happen, then put that in there because I'd be curious if anyone ever saw that. Oh, man.
Oh my gosh. Okay. So, all right. I think we've got a few more questions to go. Okay. So, what was the first mall in Phoenix?
Park Central, y'all. Park Central.
Indeed, the late 50s when it opened its doors.
Yeah. Man, Park Central. Shopping City. Is that what that says? Shopping City.
Yeah.
That's a cool picture, too.
Yeah, that was actually a postcard. So I was like, oh my gosh. I mean, and now it looks so different today. I mean, they've done a lot of updating of it.
Mm-hmm.
There's Crichton College going to be going in, but it may already be there. I don't know. So yeah, so I mean, they're really trying to change the face of Park Central.
Well, I wonder to what, you know,
well, it's not going to be a mall anymore. Well, it's like there's still food services around. I mean, you've got the bar
Jamba Juice in there.
Yeah, I think there's a Jamba Juice. There's some other restaurants. So I think it's really mainly for like some of the businesses around there to have lunch spots.
Mm-hmm. That makes sense because there are a lot of businesses right around there that need
right. They just walk over, grab some lunch. So,
well, remember Cruising Central? I mean, Park Central was the hub, you know.
Oh, indeed, it was.
Cruising Central,
McDonald's down to Bob's Big Boy and back.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, back and forth. You know.
Yeah.
So what year do we happen to know? I mean, I don't think that was a question what year that was.
It wasn't. It was late 50s. I want to say it was like 57, 58 when it opened its doors.
Okay. Wow.
So I think probably the anniversary, I think, thing for it. Well, they did like 1960 kind of the booklet for it.
Okay. Well, based on these cars, this probably was, you know, right opening time, you know, right around that time.
Yeah, exactly. I think it was. I mean, when there was a Goldwater's there. Yeah. So, and I know at some point the basement of that Goldwater's actually somebody had used it for a theater for something. I know people kept saying, "Oh, see, and there goes Anna." See, I love the fact people like fact checking us. It's like, yep. So Anna's like, "Oh, 1957." I'm like, and I think that's indeed because I knew it was late 50s.
Okay.
When judging by all those beautiful cars.
Yeah, John says twice past the same point in an hour was illegal, so they used to switch cars at Circuit City. And then try to find the girls in the other car they were chasing.
Yeah. Oh, that is funny.
Right. We did drive around, but never got out of the car. Okay, that's what Dana says. Never got out of the car.
Yeah, no, cruising the mall, you never got out of the car. Because
Yeah.
you're too busy cruising.
Yeah.
Playing your tunes in your bed stereo setup as loud as you could. So
yeah. Matt says he could never get lunch that fast at Romanelli's. Or Nick says that. Nick, did you go to Cortez? He must have went to Cortez. He says he didn't do the hot sandwich math and kept ordering meatballs. I would just do the deli special. It was like $2.99. That's all I could afford anyway. You know, it was just like lunch meats, like bologna, and I don't know. It's probably not bologna, but you know, something like that. But he must have went to Cortez too. Oh, my family used to eat at Poncho's. That was on the outside of Metro. Poncho's used to have the little flag. God, there was something with a flag that either you would put the flag up.
I've heard about this. I didn't know it was Poncho's. So you would put the flag up if you wanted like more tortillas or something.
Yeah, and then they would come and put it down. Yeah, that was like
right.
Poncho's. So good. And then the Swensons at Metro Center Complex, both closed a long time ago. Yeah, but sorry to see those places closed too. Yeah, so that's very, very cool. I love, let me just say, I just love, and you know, this is my first real experience, you know, with your show. And first, I just want to say I appreciate you so much. This is so much fun, and I love the good feelings from the walk down memory lane, you know. And but everyone participating and commenting and telling us, you teaching us stuff, teaching me stuff, you know, about things.
Well, that's the fun. It's everybody's learning.
I love it. I love it. And then people putting in dates for us, you know, keeping us. And I assume if we got some of these things wrong, they probably let us know, hey, that's not the right answer. But we did our research too as well. But
Right.
But
Well, and then people are asking about the Super Salad building. It's
Mhm.
like, so from my understanding, that building still stands even with the new light rail stuff going through.
Yep.
It's like it goes nearby, but does not disturb that building.
Does not. And the Super Salad, she's talking about the Super Salad building, right?
Yeah.
I think I read that the guy the architect who did that building did the building on Central.
Indeed, Sarmiento. Yeah.
Okay, yes.
So
Yes.
he did the punch card building as well as Super Salad, which was originally a Western bank. So it was really built as a bank building.
Okay. I remember with Super Salad. Super Salad was cool. I haven't been to one lately, but it was like you know, such a cool concept, and just good deal.
Well, I love that Anna asked, does a cannoli go with an old fashioned? I was like, Anna, a good cannoli goes with everything.
And an old fashioned goes with everything.
Exactly. So.
Some sort of mid-century modern thing. Yeah, it's really cool.
Yeah,
it's cool.
It is indeed.
Oh yeah, and Esther says yes, it was a Western banker originally. She's already schooling us on that one.
So Esther, you know, I mean, anything that really nothing is protected unless it's on the National Register and there's federal funds involved. So yeah, so even a building that is on the Arizona Register of Historic Places or even national, it could still be torn down. It's like if it's 50 years or older, it takes, I think there's a 6-month stay of demolition.
Oh,
from when the permit is pulled. And that's actually new, dating from the David Wright House over in Arcadia, that you can't pull a permit and then immediately demo the building. So
you got to wait. Okay.
You got to wait.
Good to know. Good to know. And I said that someone said that Congressman Greg Stanton went to Cortez. Who knew? I guess Keeley knew. Thanks, Keeley.
Yes, he has good stories. So
interesting.
I'll be hitting Greg up saying, "Hey, Greg, what you doing?"
Yeah. A friend of mine teaches who went there. She teaches there now.
Oh,
she has a long time. It's kind of cool. I'm like, dude, you never got out of that place. You know, because she's been teaching there a long time. She's like, I never left. You know.
Well, that's like Welcome Back, Kotter. It's like where he goes back to the school where he was teaching.
Yep.
So
this is cool.
All right. So which one of these anchor stores moved from Metro Center to Christown Spectra Mall?
That would be J.C. Penney. That left. I wonder why they left. They get kicked out, maybe.
I don't know. But now it's like, I know the one here is closing, if not already closed.
Is it already closed? The one at Christown?
I thought I saw something. I knew they were closing, but I didn't see the date. And, you know, and it's like in this moment, dates are just so kind of nebulous. It's like, So who knows?
Yeah. I think everything is closed.
I know it was like, so actually one of the folks that is here tonight, the Heard Museum is open, which I was actually able to go catch one of the most amazing exhibits I've seen in Arizona. Because Lisa was like, "Hey, you know, the Heard is open." I was like, I thought the museums were closed.
Me too.
And so then it was like, and then the next weekend I went to the Phoenix Art Museum because it's like, again, everyone's masked.
And there's probably not really anybody in there anyway, right?
Yeah.
Was it you know, dead? Like, you know, meaning not a lot of people?
Yeah, there weren't a lot of people. I mean, so museums are still open. They just have a lot fewer number of folks. And Pam's watching. Hello, Pam. So yeah, she is saying that J.C. Penney's at Christown is now closed.
Okay.
And I would say, and Pam would be an expert in that. So
all right. Yeah.
All right. So yeah.
Catch up here with Nancy says ponchos all you can eat, the table flags. Yeah, had the best phony chili rellenos. Nancy, why was it phony?
I know. I'm like, how do you make faux chili rellenos?
Yeah. I'm really curious about that. Tell us why that is. Oh yeah, the sopapillas with the were served when the flag went up at Poncho's. Yes, nice sopapillas with the honey on them. The flag went up a lot with our family. So yummy. I love it. I love it.
And Babs is saying, I mean, and pretty much almost, I think every museum is open and they're just trying to maintain numbers.
Got it. Well,
So
yeah.
they're not, I don't even think most of them are even reaching their max number.
I got to make a trip to a couple museums then. It's been a while.
Yeah, I know the Herd is going to be opening up a new exhibit fairly soon.
Okay.
And I think same thing with the Phoenix Art Museum. So
very cool. Very cool.
But there's plenty of other museums to check out and see what's there.
Yeah.
So,
and it's interesting, even if you don't want to leave your house, what's interesting, one of the things that's come with our new situation here during the pandemic is that lots of places, museums and zoos are now, live streaming different things and letting you have experiences online to be able to check out their spots, which is something I will just say for the record, they always could have done. But
right.
no one was forced to. And so,
right. And I think those are some of the things that are going to stick around after this. I mean, my friend almost every night is attending some international thing with a museum or gallery.
Yes.
I mean, she's like posting on Facebook, oh, I'm doing this, I'm doing that. And I'm like, oh my gosh, she's traveling all over the globe.
That is cool. And I've been trying to get some things as well, just catching here and there. But what really dawned on me was one day I was on Instagram and I follow the Phoenix Zoo because I'm in Phoenix, right? And so I follow the Phoenix Zoo. And one day it pops up. This was probably June or something like that. Pops up on my phone. We're live at the Phoenix Zoo in the morning, going around showing you the animals. And they were driving around the Phoenix Zoo on a little cart.
Oh my gosh.
Showing you what was going on in the morning, waking up animals, basically going around showing you. And it was only a 15-minute broadcast, but it was just enough for me to take a break while I'm drinking my coffee and watch what was happening at the zoo. And I'm thinking, wow, like this is so cool. So then I started following all the zoos around the world and museums and stuff to see if, aquariums and things to see if other places were doing that. And then they all eventually started doing some form of that, where I could be checking out places. Now, I might not go to New Zealand to check out the zoo, but I can watch it online and go see what kind of animals they have. Fascinating. Absolutely fascinating. So I hope that, even though that was created out of necessity, that they don't stop doing that kind of thing, because
I just saw where Phoenix Art Museum, it's like and they're going to do some sort of an online presence for an upcoming exhibit, which I think is really great.
And everything should be hybrid now.
Everything at its best. So many organizations
are
kind of figuring out what's going on. I mean, I'm going to be having some conversations, hopefully with like Arizona Opera and Arizona Theater Company to kind of figure out if there's some sort of collaboration we can do. Mm-hmm. So I think there's all kinds of things that people are now looking to see what they can do in a different way.
Absolutely, as they should, and everything should have a hybrid. Because think about the people who can't physically leave their homes anyway, and places that they are able to now visit that they weren't able to because it wasn't an option, and now it is an option. Don't take that option away from them now.
Yeah, I heard some random chat that had people from all over the country, and somebody mentioned about how they really appreciated the whole aspect of the virtual program because they don't have to leave their house. And a guy chimes in and is like, I'm in a wheelchair. I'm in a second floor apartment. I can't leave.
There you
go. I've been out of my house in like 2-3 years, which is just it's like, wow.
Yeah. And now he can check out the zoo or check out these international, events. I know me as a business owner, I do on everything I do online anyway. And it really opened my mind and eyes to, wow, I can help people all over the world with my coaching and with Legal Shield or whatever. And I don't want to go back to not being able to do that. I'm just not going to. And so as we open our minds to the creativity of what can we really do now that we've got the interwebs and it's off and popping, like, how do we really maximize this experience for people who couldn't otherwise have an experience? And even like what you're doing right now is part of that. And it's amazing. So it's just really cool.
And then I'm going to pop on. So my friend, Lisa, it's like, you'll all love the next big gallery show at the Herd. Leon Polk Smith, hard edge, minimal abstract art from the 50s. I'm already sold. I mean, you've got some of my favorite words in there already.
Yes.
So yeah,
from the 50s.
Other Native American artist opens February 5th. Okay, that's good to know that we have an opening date.
Thanks, right. L.I. Takata.
So yeah,
I'm digging it.
So Kenyatta, so let's make a date and we'll go to the Herd together.
Let's do it.
We'll both be masked up, so
I
we'll
am
be nice
in.
and safe.
Yes,
So that would be so
we'll
much
be masked and socially distanced. Yes, absolutely. Let's go.
exactly, and look at amazing art.
Yes, I'm in.
Very good. And then, so Nick did say he is from the class of 96 from Cortez.
96. I'm 93, Nick. So were we there at the same time? Maybe.
I'll say there might have been like a year or two, a year where you guys might have overlapped.
Yeah, there might have been one overlap there. Yeah, I went there all 4 years, and I'm the class of 93. For those of you who are like, I wonder how old she is. She looks so young. You know, yes, I do. Thank you very much. For those of you who are like, Kenyatta doesn't look like she's aged a year. Right. By the way, I haven't. Okay. I'm still 24.
I love that Nancy then brought up that Alice graduated from Cortez in 64.
Oh, wow. He probably shopped at Park Central Mall. Yes, he did. Now, here's the thing. Now I don't know, but I'm just going to say this. So there were a couple of desks at Cortez that had Alice Cooper was here carved into the desks. Right. And we used to all speculate because some of these desks were very old. Like we're like, it could have been, you know. But we would be like, no, you know, because anyone can carve Alice Cooper who was here in a desk, you know. But we would like to imagine, like, I'm sitting at a desk. I'm like, Alice Cooper sat at this desk. Check it out, dude. You know?
So I'm actually trying to get him on as a guest. I have a friend who says she has contact with him.
Okay.
I've only talked to his nonprofit Kids Rock, but
Okay.
I'm like, oh my gosh. So yeah. So
I have a friend, and I'm gonna. Okay, and I have a backup friend.
Oh, sweet. Okay.
That I'm going to connect you to. I'm going to connect you to Mike Bolenbach, and he actually recorded our Nunzilla album, and he's awesome from Fullwell Studios, and he's always hanging out with Alice Cooper. So I'm going to make a connection. So maybe we can make that happen with your friend, and between you and Mike, or you know her and Mike, we can make it happen.
So Nick says you more likely would have run into him at DeVry from 96 to 99.
90. So he went to DeVry, and so I was at DeVry from 94 to like 2006 or something, you know? So yeah. Wait, when did you leave DeVry? You said 99?
Yeah.
Oh, then we were there at the same time. Nick, do I know you?
Oh my gosh. Okay. So PJ, my cocktail consultant, is on. So I love how he says he would love to do an Alice Cooper cocktail. I agree. I would love for you to do one. So yeah. So that's on my wish list. And so
PJ, we got to make it happen.
I agree.
PJ, I need to know you because that drink. Now, I didn't get the pleasure of having this fancy Wild Stallion drink, but when I was looking at the pictures and everything, and he says what you do, like I need to know you. So I'm interested.
And I honestly think, PJ, this is the best cocktail you've made so far. Yeah,
PJ.
I mean, it's like, and there have been some really amazing cocktails, but this one. I mean, I think it's that stout reduction that is just amazing.
Interesting. Yeah, PJ. He said did you hear him, PJ? He said the best cocktail. I mean, those are pretty bold words.
I do not throw around best cocktail lightly.
That's a bold statement, man, PJ. So I need to. So how do I then, if this is the best one, how do I do that? How do I get that?
I know. Well, that's a good that. I know he said he had a little bit of the stout reduction left.
See, and I like stout. You know,
I will connect the two of you because I think you need one of these because you said you like beer. And so it's that beer. But the other thing I love is that little bit of pepper going down the middle of it.
Yeah.
Over time, it's getting more and more into the cocktail, which is great. Oh, Nancy's saying, question 10. Come on. What are you doing?
Hey, she's rushing. All right, Nancy. Okay.
All right, Nancy. Okay. We're going to keep on track. All right. So which one of these stores was not on the second floor?
Wait a minute. That's not right.
That's not right?
No, that's not.
Oh.
It says hot dog on a stick, but that is not the right answer.
Oh, so see, I assumed because it was the only one that was a food thing.
Mm-mm.
Not food. So hot dog on a stick was on the second floor?
It was on the second floor. Yes. Hot dog on a stick was on the second floor, right? Like if you were walking down the hall to the food court, which was on the second floor, then and hot dog on a stick was right there in that hallway. The food court in Metro was on its second floor, which may be different for, I don't know. It's the only mall I know, but it was always on.
I didn't realize that was a okay. So the ice cream would have been first floor, as opposed to, I assume like the ice cream would have been like the basement level.
See, and that's where it gets tricky, because like where the ice skating rink was, like there was the movie theater, the Harkins, right? And then then the ice skating rink went away, and they floored it in and put chairs and tables where there was nothing, they walled that in. And then so I had to go to the Harkins after that to see, okay, well, what is down there now, right? And what I feel like they did is I think they made the Harkins bigger, which was downstairs, like from the outside. If you went to the Harkins, then you had to go down this really long escalator underneath, like in a basement kind of level, really. And that's where the Harkins is now, I think, where the ice skating rink used to be. So if anyone wants to pop in on that, if you know more about that, but that's how I envisioned they were able to make that happen. So technically it was the second floor where the food court was.
Okay.
So that is not the answer. So I wonder now, okay, before.
That's good, because we have people like Carolee and Babs saying, "Oh no,
yeah,
you're wrong." I'm like, I'm sorry, I didn't know I was wrong. So
no, that's okay. So I see people guessing. Say what you think the answer is, and I'll tell you which one it is. They're talking about Chick-fil-A, okay, food place outside the food court. Because obviously, I know the answer. They took out the rink and ASU classrooms put in the Harkins. Oh, really? ASU classrooms in the mall, in the movie theater. What? Because there was no one going to the movie. Like, used to date a girl that worked at.
I love how lemonade keeps popping up again. I mean, Sarah's taking it about how they made too much noise doing the lemonade.
John got it right. John, yeah, Spencer's. Spencer's was on the first floor of Metro Center.
And Lisa got Spencer.
Yeah, so. Spencer's, yeah. Man, who loves Spencer's? Raise your hand. Man, Spencer's was cool.
My gosh. My teenage years looking at all those little boxes for the naughty gifts.
Yes.
It's like by today's standards, we're like nothing.
But it's naughty, not even naughty at all.
No. So
Spencer's was the coolest store, in
oh
the
my
mall.
God, all the blacklight posters, all the posters.
I have posters. I've got a Jimi Hendrix poster from there that I still have. I would go there and buy for our Nunzilla shows. We would have beacon lights, that we would have playing all.
I was going to say they also had like the party lights.
Yep, we had the red and blue beacon lights and fog machines, because our whole thing was Nunzilla and Godzilla and the big nuns that would destroy the city and blah blah blah. So we would have smoke machines and beacon lights for effect, while we played like nunsploitation movies on the TV on the screen and all this crazy stuff. But I would go to Spencer's to buy the beacon lights and our fog machines, and I would go get fog juice and everything. That's where I went and got all my stuff.
Right, it was before we had Party City and things like that, where you could go get that stuff. It was like, yeah. It
was Spencer. So right on. So John wins because he typed it in first. I don't know what he wins, but you're a winner chicken dinner.
And actually, there's no prizes other than the fact that yay!
Oh, give him a round of applause. You get a round of applause, John.
I like dresses like, oh, you can get cut off jeans next to Ferrari posters.
Well, I can say, so speaking of another little fun fact I'll give you guys. I wonder if anyone can guess the name. Okay, so before there was Hot Topic, there was another music / store that was kind of like Hot Topic, but not, meaning you get music and cool clothes, but it was more of a rock related store versus Hot Topic, which was goth-ish, emo-ish. I don't know, whatever it was back then. It was weird to us back then when it popped up, But there was another store in the corner actually right down the hall from Hot Topic, that was in the corner. Put the name of that store in the chat if you remember what that store was, because that is where I used to hang out at before it was Hot Topic. And when I got to go work at Hot Topic, and I'll tell you why I wound up working there, is it was my senior year, and I was in this program because I had enough credits, so I only had to go to school from 8 to 12. But I was in a program like called the DCE, Diversified Cooperative Education or whatever. Total nerd stuff. That's what I did. But you had to have a job in the afternoon in order to be part of this. So the teacher had a big long list of all the places, that stores that they must have, communicated with, that said, hey, if you hire our high school students, can you give them a job? And then their performance at the job would be part of their grade, And so the teacher gave me the list. Miss Galloway, I think her name was, gave me the list, and I'm looking through the list and everything. And it's like Hot Topic music store in the mall. And I'm like, what? There's only one place like this. I don't know. So anyway, that's how I got the job. I had to do it for school. So I had to go there, and he had to communicate. My boss had to communicate with my teacher and everything like that. So it was kind of like this work program, if you will, but we got to choose from the list, like where we wanted to go and apply. And then I got hired there. I worked there for about 3 weeks. Okay. Not very long.
That is not long at all.
Not long at all. Unpacked everything, set up the whole store, the store grand opening and everything. And my boss brings me in one day and he says, Kenyatta, we're going to have to let you go. And I was like, what do you mean let me go? He's like, we're going to have to let you go. And I was devastated. I'm like, well, why are you letting me go? He goes, well, you talk too much to the customers. Like, you're too friendly with the customers. And he's like, you're supposed to be making sure they're not stealing things. And I said, oh, well, is someone stealing stuff while I'm working? He goes, well, no. I said, so what's the problem? He goes, well, you're just being too friendly. It's just not going to work out. We're going to let you go. And I said, wait a minute. If I'm talking to the customers and they're not stealing anything, because I'm standing right there talking to them going, hey, oh, you're going to buy this Metallica t-shirt. Maybe you should come over here and look at our buttons. I'm like making sales. Then they're not stealing anything, and I think he probably really just didn't like my smart mouth, or he had some other issue. But either way, I got fired from Hot Topic. So that's a fun fact for you all. After 3 weeks, I got fired for reasons unknown. I go home, and here's the thing, and people have heard this part of the story before. In my business life, I go home and I tell my mom, I'm bawling. Oh my God, I got fired from Hot Topic. What my life? What am I going to do? And my mom looks at me and she goes, why are you crying? And I'm like, I got fired from my job. Like, this is devastating to me. And she goes, are you going to work in retail the rest of your life? And I was like, the way she asked the question, it sounded like the answer should be no. So I'm like, no. And she goes, well, then quit crying then. He probably did you a favor. And I was like, perspective. So
And Preston got fired as well.
Who did?
Preston got fired from Hot Topic as well.
Preston I got fired from Hot Topic as well. So yeah, so perspective. My mom's like, get over it. You're not going to do that the rest of your life anyway. And she was right. I wound up very shortly after that, got a temp job because I didn't know what to do. I'm like, I don't know what to do. And then I wound up at DeVry, which literally changed my life. So let me just, close that loop, because I started at DeVry because I got fired from Hot Topic. I was a temp and I worked at a couple different places, and I landed at DeVry, and it literally changed my life. Working at that college put me in the exact place that I needed to be, that I didn't know I needed to be. Obviously, most people don't even know there's jobs at a college other than teaching, but it set me on the path that put me where I am today, a behavioral superpowers coach. I mean, I'm a trainer, I'm a consultant, and I help people grow and develop. It helped shape me into the person I am today. And I couldn't be happier. So to go back to the story, guy, whoever you were that fired me at Hot Topic, thank you. Thank you, because you were right. That was not meant for me. And my life and the people I've been able to touch in that process, you set the trajectory for that. So I appreciate you, guy, who I don't remember your name, but I do remember your face because I'll never forget it. Because, I'll leave it at that.
All right. So you brought up the question of the other kind of music store that predated Hot Topics.
Oh, someone put it in there?
Well, I think Babs is trying, like something like Benner.
Nope. No, it was in the corner. It was way tucked, like you was in the corner, like if where Hot Topic was, because Hot Topic had one location and then it moved like a couple doors down in the same area. But if you walk down to the end, and then what was it? Whichever anchor store that was right there by there, you walked kind of around the corner, and it was tucked in the corner, and it was a cool store. It was dark, and you could get things like skull rings and, chain wallets and, heavy metal stuff and everything. So if anyone gets, I mean, I'll tell you what the name is, but I'm just curious if anybody knows what it is.
No, Bab said it's some weird name.
It's some weird name. Well, it's a weird name. I'll just tell you. It was called Whatevers. It was called Whatever. That's what it was. It was Whatever.
Well, they took a note from Golf and Stuff and said, well, we're just going to call it Whatever.
They took a note from Whatever. And I remember when Hot Topic came, it was competition for Whatevers, because it was a music kind of related store that sold that kind of stuff. But Hot Topic came with, and I don't know if the word goth is correct or not, but I mean, they came with the plaid stuff and the corsets and, the stuff that wasn't like in Whatever's. Whatever was more like hard rock, heavy metal style, and Whatever's was, and then Hot Topic was different, like maybe 9 Inch Nails, you know what I mean? Like, or something like that. Right. I might be wrong in that regard, but they were different music genres, really, but they still competed with each other in some kind of way, because I was a fan of Whatever. So when I saw Hot Topic coming, I was like, what is this thing? And then I kind of saw, I'm like, oh, okay, this is kind of interesting. And then Hot Topic morphed into whatever the hell it turned into after that. I don't know. But they had cool stuff in there too. So Preston, I mean, I worked there, like I said, for 3 weeks. What do I know?
So Kenyatta, how can people follow you or find out more about you?
Oh yeah. So I'm on Facebook. Find me on Facebook. I'm on LinkedIn. For the folks who are on LinkedIn, Kenyatta Turner. You can go to my website, Freedom Empire Consulting, because I am a behavioral superpowers coach who decodes human behavior, and I optimize performance using validated behavioral insights. That is what I do. And what does that mean? Call me and find out.
Exactly.
Call me and find out. But yeah, you can find me. I'm on Instagram. Everything's just Kenyatta Turner because, hey, I'm the only one in my mind. And Freedom Empire Consulting is my business. That's my company. And I don't know, love helping people, love what I do. I help people build and shield their freedom empires. And I love working with business owners. So if you guys are small business owners and entrepreneurs and you want to protect your businesses and get some resources that you need, that's where I love. And yeah, that's what I do. Oh, and then I will tell you as well is that if you're interested in anything really cool, I'm about to do a 3-day challenge that starts on January 19th. People love to set goals. They love to come up with a New Year's resolution. And then by the 19th of January, they've already thrown that out the window. And so I do behavioral vision challenge that I'm going to do. So you can go to my website or Freedom Empire Consulting /behavioral vision challenge and then come and check it out. So yeah, just some stuff I do.
Very good. Well, thank you so much for joining us tonight and sharing your love of Metro Center.
Thank you so much for having me, Marshall. This is a blast. And thank you to everyone who's been in here, having fun with us. Babs and Sarah and Nick and Preston and PJ and Li Takata. Li, you said that's your friend. What's her name? Or that person?
She goes, yeah.
Yes, absolutely. And everyone who's been hanging out with us, Nick, Carolee.
I love that we have this like crossover friends that who even knew. I mean,
who even knew? And John.
So funny. I mean, oh my gosh. Yeah.
This has been a blast.
That's what I love about these is everybody gets to learn something.
Yeah. And so please, you guys reach out and connect with me, find me, friend me, say, hey, and send a message. Hey, I was on the thing. That way I know that's where from. I'm always looking to make friends and hang out with cool people. And if you guys are hanging out on his show, then you're cool. So, we can go from there. But yeah, Marshall, you're awesome. This has been a blast. I appreciate you.
Thank you so much and have a great rest of your night.
Absolutely. You too. Everyone else. See you guys later. Bye.
Oh my gosh. So you might not have thought it was worth sharing at the very onset, but after We went through that trivia. I hope now you see the value in sharing, as you can share so much fun as what we get to have talking about Metro Center and other malls and just so much stuff. Now, our next segment is actually sponsored by First Families of Arizona. They're a really cool group that you can find them on Facebook under First Families of Arizona, or their website, which is the acronym, so tffoa.org. But they're doing all kinds of virtual programs as well, and some really cool stuff coming up. We're now getting ready for Little Arizona. So a lot of people don't realize, I mean, it's like, oh, I moved here from New York. I grew up in a small farm town in Indiana of about 25 people. There were 2 roads, 1 stop sign. At the end of one street, there was a flashing light so that when you're on the highway, you would slow down. And so moving to Arizona, it was like, that's one of the things I love, is not only just being in the 5th largest city in the country, but also being able to go visit small towns. And so we're going to talk about Arivaca, which is a little town that is about an hour southwest of Tucson and about 14 miles from the border of Mexico. Now, initially, it was home to the Pima and the Tohono O'odham. The name Arivaca basically means small spring. Now, it dates back to the Spaniards who had small silver mines there and actually became part of the U.S. with the Gadsden Purchase. I know, Pam, and it was so funny because when I was looking at a small town, last week we did Strawberry, and I mentioned that they had the oldest school in Arizona. Well, I found that actually there's one place that has one older, and it's Arivaca. And then it was like, oh my gosh, what an amazing little town. So Arivaca, I mean, population under 300 people. In the 1860s, they discovered more silver, and so then became a mining town. Now, they had problems because of the water and mosquitoes. So those have been taken care of, but there are still, I mean, you can still go see, and this is the oldest school still standing in Arizona. I mean, it opened its doors in 1879, which I think is pretty amazing. You can go to La Junta, which was opened up in 1880. It started off as a dance hall, became a barn. It's now a cafe and community space. As well as there's still a farmer's market that is now doing curbside delivery, so you can still get your vegetables during certain times, as well as so many other products they sell. What I love is that it's named for the farmer's market, has the name of Marion. And it's basically a woman who was a farmer who raised chickens, cattle, geese. And so she used to sell her wares from under a big tree there. Now, because I'm a librarian, I am going to geek out a little bit and say that Arivaca is likely home to the first library in Arizona. So one of the investors in one of the big mine, his name was Sam Colt from, indeed, the gun manufacturer. And he sent a collection of books to there so the miners could improve their education. And so thereby creating really one of the first, if not the first, library in all of Arizona. Now, it's also kind of the gateway. You can go visit this amazing park that is kind of on that border of, you've got a footpath, you've got this boardwalk that's really great for bird watching. It leads you through a variety of groves where you can see old growth oaks, willows, grassy areas speckled with a variety of sunflowers and wildflowers. So, I've heard people talk about Arivaca. I've never been. It is now like one of the top places on my list of places to go. So I can hardly wait to go visit Arivaca, which seems so kind of steeped in its own history. And I've heard it's got a great bar as well, which I haven't been to. So I don't want to say a great bar because, my standards are kind of high, especially after this cocktail tonight. But
so how did you do? I love asking this because it's like, how did you do in the trivia? But even more importantly, Did you have a good time? Did you learn some stories? And I know with this one, we covered a lot of different things. I mean, from Nonzilla to the Ruby Room to Metro Center and making of drinks. And so, all right. Well, now you know, this is why I always say if you're watching on Facebook, you need to share because we're going to keep bringing you and sharing Arizona history and love. So please click that share button and let your friends know how much fun you're having with Arizona history. Now, next week, we're going to be revisiting Kevin McSweeney, better known or also known as Pussy LaHoot. That's a fun episode. Be sure and stick around and see you next week. Now, I always love to hear from you all because, you know, you all provide sometimes some of my best connections to people, places, and stories. So please reach out to me if you have any questions, comments, or anything else. So, you know, as we get ready to say goodnight, I love always to give a shout out to my friends, Chris and Cole, who did that great video, as well as PJ for that amazing cocktail. And as we say goodnight, you know, I'm getting ready to winter reading, or actually not winter because it's not cold outside, but summer reading is starting with Maricopa County Library District. And so I'm going to be visiting a variety of libraries across the valley, doing a variety of topics. One of them is Arizona movies. And so with that, we are going to end on a 1955 Nash commercial filmed up near Sedona. All right, everybody, I will see you next week.
Gosh, Pluto, the 55 Nash sure is a beauty.
That's right, Mickey. And it has a new Jetfire V8 engine that really takes off. It's a big, solid car that whips around the sharpest curves. A family car that turns and handles like a dream. And that's not all. Nash has the widest wraparound windshield of all.
Come on, Pluto, old boy. We're going to see the 1955 Nash.
Yes, for 55, come with Nash into a new motoring age. Thrill to brand new power. A new 208 horsepower Ambassador Jetfire V8 engine to give you get-up-and-go performance that commands the American road. There's a new Cenoramic wraparound windshield, widest of any car. And for 55, Nash gives you completely new handling ease. Even on sharpest curves, you'll cling to the road like a streamlined train. Huge Nash deep coil springs inclined at an angle work like sea legs to give you greater stability on curves. Ever see a big family car maneuver like this? A big car that could turn like this? Yes, for a totally new driving experience, thrill test the new Nash Ambassador and Statesman at your Nash dealers tomorrow. Another reason why American Motors means more for Americans.